Hello everyone. I wanted to let everybody know about my skincare routine. My skin is naturally oily and acne prone, and so I wanted to let everybody know what I do to take care of my skin. I spent 15 years trying to figure out how to get the acne and the big pores and the oil and the hyperpigmentation under control. Finally figured it out after several years of trial and error. The picture in the top left corner is what my skin naturally looks like all throughout most of my body. The picture in the top right corner is what my skin has looked like for the past several years since I perfected my skincare regimen. And then you can obviously see the difference in my lips. The main product that made my skin look really nice was Kojie San kojic acid. So let's go into detail. So these are the products that I use on my skin. The product on the far left is kojic acid in the form of bar soap. The brand I use is called Kojie San. The next product is Knox Gelatin Unflavored. That is the base for my peeling mask. The next product is Aztec Secret Indian Healing Clay. The next product is Viva Doria Activated Charcoal, 8 ounces. The next product is ProactivMD Deep Cleansing Face Wash, 6 ounces. And then the last product is Cetaphil DERMACONTROL Oil Absorbing Moisturizer. The DERMACONTROL, that is 4 ounces. I get all of these products right on Amazon. The Knox Gelatin, you can buy that at any grocery store in the Jello section. But I usually buy the big containers on Amazon, and the products, the links for what I buy from Amazon for all of these, they're all gonna be at the bottom of the video. All the links are gonna be at the bottom of the video. That bar of soap usually lasts me a month. That little packet of Knox Gelatin usually lasts me a week. This container size of the Indian Healing Clay usually lasts me 4 or 5 years. The activated charcoal in this size lasts me 6 months. The ProactivMD in this size lasts me 3 months. And then the moisturizer in the 4 ounces, it usually lasts me 1 or 2 months. These two, I use them every morning and every night. It's an exfoliating cleanser. It's got a slight minty feeling to it. It's very good for oily skin. It helps with reducing oil. And then also the Cetaphil DERMACONTROL Oil Absorbing Moisturizer. It's got a slight powdery texture to it, also good for absorbing oil. So the first thing I do when I do my weekly face masks, the face masks are not done every day. I just do them twice a week. I start with the Kojie San soap, wet my hands, lather it up, and then I spread the soap all over my face. I always start with my eyes because what I've learned over the years is if I start with the rest of my face and do my eyes last, my eyes end up being really dark and the rest of my face ends up being a different color. So I've learned to start with my eyelids. I rub it around my eyes first, and then I rub the Kojie San soap around the rest of my face. This soap, it gets rid of acne, it gets rid of scars, it makes your face really soft, and as a side effect, it'll give you like this orangish golden undertone, and the orangish golden undertone, it looks so pretty. I'll give you a really good view of it at the end of the video. But I just lather it up, rub it all over my face, and you want to let it sit on your face for as long as you can tolerate. I can leave it on for like up to 30 minutes. I can leave it on even longer. Like, it is an acid, but as long as you use it safely, it's, you know, it's fine to use on your face. I usually let it sit maybe 15 or 20 minutes. And anytime you use Kojie San, you have to always use a moisturizer because it will dry your face out. You have to always use a moisturizer with an SPF, because if you go out in the sun and you don't use an SPF, it'll give your face like this weird blotchy color. So like I said, it is an acid and it's perfectly safe to use. You just have to use it correctly, that's all. But I just lather my hands really well, slather it all over my face, let it sit maybe usually about 20 minutes. I can let it sit longer, but I usually let it sit about 20 minutes. And I just put it all over my face. Now, what I'm gonna do is while the Kojie San is sitting on my face, I'm going to make the clay mask with the Indian Healing Clay, and I like to mix it with apple cider vinegar. You can mix it with water, but it doesn't mix as well as if you mix it with water. It mixes a lot better if you use an apple cider vinegar. This is approximately a tablespoon. I don't measure it, I just eyeball it. I take the spatula and I just scoop it in there. That's approximately a tablespoon. I'll include the links for this mixing bowl and the spatula. They come as a set. I'll include the links for Amazon in the video. I add the apple cider vinegar and then I give it a good mix. You only want to add a little bit at a time. You want to add a little bit at a time and just mix it up. If it's not the consistency that you want, which you can see it's too dry, then just go ahead and add a little bit more and then give it a good mix. As you see, I made it way too watery. So I went back and added a little bit more powder just to make it a little bit thicker. When you put the mask on, it does have this drying effect on your face, as it's supposed to. It's supposed to pull impurities and oil out of your face and tighten up your pores, and it does do that. If it's too watery, the pull isn't as strong, but my skin is oily and my pores are really big, so I like that pulling sensation to be stronger. So I like my mask to be a little bit thicker. If your skin is more sensitive or your skin doesn't need that much work, then I guess it's okay for you to make your mask a bit more watery. But I like mine a little bit thicker, and that's the consistency that I like. It has enough water to the point where it spreads smoothly on your face, but it's also thick enough to the point where it's not too watery. And if you do make too much, you can just put some of it in this little jar, which also comes with the bowl and the spatula. And that little jar, you can keep it in the fridge for months and it won't go bad. When you make peeling masks or face masks, if you leave them out, they'll go moldy. But if you put them in the fridge, they'll stay fresh for months. Next, what I'm gonna do here, I'm squeezing the whiteheads out of my nose because my nose is one of the oiliest parts of my face. And so before I use the clay mask and the peeling mask, I like to help it by squeezing some of the extra whiteheads and oil out of my nose. I only squeeze the whiteheads out of my nose when I know I'm gonna be making my face mask, because if I squeeze them out and then go on about my day, my nose looks really red and the pores look really big, and it makes my nose look like a strawberry, and it looks terrible, and I hate the way that looks. So now, what I usually do next in my skincare routine, my weekly skincare routine, is that I start with the clay mask and I start putting it on my nose since that's the oiliest part of my face. Then I move to my cheeks, which is the second oiliest part of my face. The middle of my face, like my pores just get really big. And I know it's partially a good thing to have oily skin, because when you get older, your skin will look healthier longer. When you have darker skin and when you have oily skin, it preserves your skin for a lot longer. But at the same time, it takes a bit of effort to maintain it. So I start by rubbing the clay mask on my nose, then on the sides of my nose or my cheeks, whatever you call that. Then I put them on my forehead, and as soon as you rub it on, it starts to dry. And I like that drying effect because your skin just looks really soft and really smooth once you rinse it off. And I make sure I put it all over my face. I don't miss any parts of my face. My cheeks don't get, like the sides of my face, they don't get that oily. They don't get that many whiteheads. They don't have really big pores. But I mean, I just do my entire face because why not? While the clay mask is drying on my face, I like to go and make the peeling mask, which is the next step in the process. I meant to leave some of the excess clay in the bowl because I like to add it to my peeling mask, but this time I forgot to leave it and I accidentally rinsed it. So I added a little bit more, and then I add the activated charcoal. I use a Viva Doria. I buy the 8 ounces from Amazon. It lasts me 6 months. You can use any activated charcoal you want, but that's the one that I buy. I think the amount of clay and activated charcoal that I use is maybe a teaspoon, not a tablespoon, a teaspoon. If you use too much of the activated charcoal, the mask will become too dry. So when you try to peel the mask off, it's going to break apart like a chip instead of peeling off like when you peel off glue that dries on your face. So you don't want to use too much. I would say that's maybe a teaspoon amount. So that's the activated charcoal and the bentonite clay. And then the base for the peeling mask is the Knox Unflavored Gelatin. Again, you can buy these little boxes in the Jello section of any supermarket. I usually buy those larger containers from Amazon, but this time I didn't. Every time I go grocery shopping, I just make sure I buy a little box. Each time I do my peeling mask, I always use a packet and a half. A packet and a half is more than enough. This tiny amount is what I had left over from my last mask, and that's obviously not a half a packet. That's more like maybe a fourth, if even that. So I just went ahead and opened another packet so that I can use half of it. A packet and a half makes the perfect amount that I need for one peeling mask. And then the rest I just fold it up and put it away and save it for the next mask. What I'm gonna do now, what I'm gonna do is add the water. I usually use 2 tablespoons of water. That little measuring cup or whatever it's called, that came with the bowl and the spatula. It comes with different items as a set. So I usually use, right now in this video, I use like 1.5, but for the amount of powder that I use, because I forgot I added that extra little bit of powder, you would need 2 tablespoons. And as soon as you put the water in, immediately mix it. Don't hesitate, because if you wait, it's gonna develop the skin, and the skin is too difficult to mix. And if you don't add enough water, it's gonna be too chunky. If you add too much water, it'll be too watery. So again, you kind of have to eyeball it, and you'll get used to creating the right consistency the more you make these masks. This one I had difficulty mixing, so I just went ahead and added a little bit more water. So with the amount of the gelatin that I used, 2 tablespoons was enough. And then I mixed it up. I always make sure I scrape the sides, because this stuff isn't cheap, so I don't like wasting any of it. Give it a good mix. After leaving the clay mask on my skin for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, I rinse it off with warm water, and then I give my skin a very light scrub with the ProactivMD Deep Cleansing Face Wash. Don't scrub hard, be gentle. And then I rinse that off with warm water. This is what the consistency of the peeling mask should look like. And then I rinse off the Proactiv, and the key, I rinse it off with warm water, and you have to leave your face wet. And then you have to take the mixture, the peeling mask mixture that you created, you have to heat it up for 8 or 9 seconds to get it to melt. And then while your face is still wet, that's when you put the mask on your face. And if your skin dries out while you're waiting for the mask to finish in the microwave, only 8 or 9 seconds is how long you need to heat it up for. Just splash some more warm water on your face. Your face has to be wet in order for the peeling mask to stick to your skin. It's not gonna stick if it isn't wet, so it won't pull any whiteheads out of your face. I always like to start with my nose because it's the oiliest part of my face. And then I move on to my cheeks. Sometimes while I'm putting the peeling mask on, my face will start to dry out. So I just go and put more warm water on it. I usually use my fingers. At one point I used to have a brush that I would use. I used to have a little tiny brush, but I don't know. I prefer to just use my fingers. I start with my nose, and then the apples of my cheeks or the sides of my nose. Then I move to my forehead, and then I also do my chin, and then last I do my cheeks, since my cheeks or the sides of my face, those are the least problematic parts of my face. And this part is really fun for me. Like the mixture, like if I do it correctly, it smooths. If it doesn't have too much water in it, but also not too much powder, the consistency is perfect. So it's not too watery to the point where it drips while I put it on. At least it doesn't drip too much. But then, like, it's thick enough where it'll stay in place when I put it on. But then it also has enough water in it to where I can spread it over my skin pretty smoothly and easily. Every once in a while, I'll accidentally make it incorrectly, but this time I made it perfectly. As you can see how easily it's smoothing on my face, but it's also not dripping too much. My skin dried out a little bit as I was putting the mask on, so I just took a washcloth and dipped it in warm water. So I'm just rubbing more warm water on my face. Your skin has to be wet in order for the peeling mask to stick to your skin. So I'm not drying it. As you can see, there's water on the washcloth. Just putting more water on it before I try to put the mask on. And while you're applying the mask, if it dries out, you can just put it back in the microwave for another 5 or 6 seconds. Maybe not the full 8 or 9 seconds, but if you have to heat it up a second time, just put it in the microwave for 5 or 6 seconds to get it nice and soft again. When I'm applying the peeling mask to the sides of my face, I use a spatula because the sides of my face, the surface area is a lot bigger, and it's just a lot easier to scoop up the peeling mask. To scoop up the mixture with the spatula and just kind of slather it all over your face. And putting this mask on for me is just so much fun. And I especially love when I put it on and it doesn't drip. Like, it just easily smooths over my face. I love when that happens. I also put some of the mixture underneath my chin because I do get whiteheads underneath my chin. I just make sure I wet my face first. And I take the spatula and I just kind of scoop it on there. There's usually always a little bit extra mixture left over, so it's just enough for me to put some underneath my chin. I do get whiteheads underneath my chin as well. Anywhere in my body where I used to have really bad acne is where I currently get whiteheads. And now that I'm done applying the mask, I sit in front of the fan. I'm in front of the fan right now, even though you can't see the fan, and that helps everything dry. As you see, I used most of the mixture. I don't like wasting any of it. And I let it sit until it needs to dry, and after maybe 20 or 30 minutes, it's dry. Once it's dry, you can go ahead and start peeling it off. Peeling the whiteheads out of my face is so much fun. I tried to show you so that you can see the whiteheads coming out of my face. I don't know if you can see, but you might be able to see those little white dots on that little piece. That's why I use the activated charcoal, because I like being able to see all the whiteheads that come out of my face. I mean, it's just so satisfying and fun. I don't know if you can really see it, but peeling off the peeling mask is so much fun. The thing that really makes me happy is that as I'm peeling it, you can see how matte my skin looks. And my skin is naturally oily and my pores are naturally really big. But while you're peeling the mask off, you can see how matte my skin looks. And the matteness comes from the clay mask. People say that activated charcoal mattifies your skin. I'm not sure if it's really the charcoal, but I know the clay mask does a very good job of mattifying your skin. And that's why I like adding it into my peeling mask. I just absolutely love how matte my skin looks when I peel off the peeling mask. And for those of you that don't know, matte is the opposite of shiny. Love how it looks. Absolutely love the way it looks, and I haven't even rinsed off like the remaining residue. I love how it comes out. That's why peeling off the peeling mask is so satisfying for me. You may be able to see the whiteheads that came out of my face. You might be able to see them. I don't know if you can or can't, but this type of homemade mask, it works so much better than the masks that already come in a bottle. Those peeling masks that already come in a bottle, they only pull off like the top part of the whiteheads out of my face. But when I make my own mask, the pull is a lot stronger and it pulls like the entire whitehead out of my face and just makes my skin look so nice. The last thing I do is I rinse off the remaining bit of residue on my face with warm water. Sometimes I have to take a washcloth and wipe it off. Make sure you wipe off all of it and then just dry your face with a washcloth. Make sure you use warm water. Once your face is dry, you want to use a DERMACONTROL oil absorbing moisturizer. You want to always moisturize when you're doing different skincare stuff, because if you don't, your skin will get really dry. I always put the moisturizer on my eyebrows first because my eyebrows can dry out, and then I'll scratch them without realizing. Next thing I know, I have bald spots in my eyebrows. So I just start with my eyebrows, rub it all over my face. It has, it's a moisturizer and it has a slight powdery texture to it, and that's the mattifying property of it. This is such a good moisturizer for people that have oily skin. It really does absorb oil. Rub it all over your face. I don't put a whole lot on my cheeks because my cheeks get so shiny. I just put a teeny tiny little bit on my cheeks. Do you see that golden undertone highlight? That's mainly from the Kojie San. It gives your skin this orangish golden undertone and highlight. It gives your skin, your natural skin tone, an enhancement. I absolutely love the way it looks. My whole body used to be, most of my body used to be bumpy and have scars, and now my whole body looks the same way my face looks, like just one smooth, even color. You see that golden highlight, love the way it looks. And it shows up in pictures too. Absolutely love the way that looks. I'm really happy with how these masks came out. This is a video that I took a few days prior to making the face masks, and I just wanted to show you me looking cute instead of me just being at home making face masks. People sometimes think that I have on foundation when I really don't. It's mainly because of the Kojie San smoothing out my skin tone. So that is my weekly skincare routine. Make these face masks. I wouldn't make them more than twice a week because you might irritate your skin. The products can be a little bit harsh. Thank you for watching. Bye!